Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. So I wanted to thank all you guys for all the comments on yesterday's Bearable Guy video. Ian Northing actually brought this to my attention. When I asked yesterday, had Bearable Guy's background changed? It looks as though it has, and so he says that this was actually from August 18th, and you can see from August 18th, that was the last time he was on Bearable Guy's official Twitter site, and you can see that that tiny URL is actually not in the corner here beside the bright light, the white brick here. If we go now to Bearable Guy's backwards profile, you can see that that has indeed appeared there. So wanted to thank Ian Northing for sending me that first off. August 18th was the last time he saw that, and there was no tiny URL, and since then that tiny URL had appeared. Guys, if you missed yesterday's Bearable Guy video, I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner for you. Interesting day today. I saw this from XRP Crypto Wolf. So this with regards to Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell and how he's saying he's expected to bolster expectations of inflation in a keynote speech. So this coming from CoinDesk, U.S. Federal Chair Jerome Powell is expected to bolster expectations of inflation during his keynote speech at the Jackson Hole Economic Policy Symposium on Thursday, which is tomorrow. According to analysts speaking to CoinDesk, that could ultimately lead to further drops in the dollar and greater buying power for Bitcoin traders and investors. So this is why we should be all excited about this. The Fed chief is expected to signal tolerance for higher inflation during the speech, with the central bank having mostly missed its 2% inflation target since 2012. Powell has previously stated that he doesn't think inflation is a significant risk and is prepared to see it overshoot to meet his objectives, Charlie Morris, chief investment officer at ByteTree Asset Management, told CoinDesk over WhatsApp. A more relaxed approach to managing price pressures could power a stronger rise in long-term inflation in the U.S. The major impact for crypto out of this symposium would be change in monetary policy and further depreciation of the US dollar, which could propel Bitcoin higher. This from Matthew Dibb, co-founder of Stack. This article continues on by stating inflation is expected by many in the cryptocurrency space to be a driving factor for Bitcoin gains, as it's perceived to be a hedge similar to gold. So we have recently seen Bitcoin shoot up over the last month or so, 2 months, let's call it. But now Bitcoin pulling back a little, guys. This is Bitcoin on the 4-hour, and we can see since about August 17th, we have seen that pullback. Bitcoin reached an inter-year high of about 12,400, and now this pullback is happening. Again, this is on the 4-hour. We are also seeing the similar retracement for XRP, so similar movements. And although it is coming down further, it's okay because that means that the bull... Okay, I know it's going to sound counterintuitive, but this pullback ultimately means the bull run is healthy. Okay, we're not going to see Bitcoin shooting up too far too fast, which could mean a panic sell-off, which would mean deep cuts too soon. And ultimately what that would mean is not giving said cryptocurrency time to rise even further. So these pullbacks are good because it gives buyers and sellers some time to breathe. Exhale, right? Buyers and sellers need to be in an agreement on a price, and if it goes too high too fast, I don't think that buyers are going to continue to buy at that pace. So we need to see the price come down a bit. Buyers are like, okay, that's a good deal. Price goes up. Momentum keeps moving upward, and so that is a recipe for a healthy bullish market. Remember, guys, all this is psychology on the page. And so where could Bitcoin retrace to? Well, I'm thinking it wouldn't be unusual for it to retrace at least to this level of resistance here, the former level that we saw here. Let me just demarcate that with a rectangle here, a yellow rectangle. So that would be anywhere between, I was talking about Bitcoin. This is XRP. The charts look so similar. Let's do XRP first because I was going to get to that anyway. XRP, we could see it come down to this level of retracement between 0.222 cents and 0.247 cents. So somewhere in between, if you wanted to pick your entry point, could be at about 23.3 or so. Anywhere in between there, I think. It came up in this zone here, so this zone touched into this level as well. So that would be a good entry point for XRP. Let's bring it back to Bitcoin, which I was talking about originally. And so for Bitcoin, the last level here was roughly between this level here, okay, and highs, and where do we want to go for the low end? I guess it did dip around there. Or no, it went even further down than that. Let me just get in there. Okay. we know cryptos are very, very volatile to trade. So we want to keep these zones fairly wide. Anywhere in between here, I know this zone is going to sound humongous, but 9,300 to 10,004, so there's $1,000 leeway in there. But we know Bitcoin can jump hundreds of dollars in a matter of minutes. So this all kind of makes sense here. This zone here does line up with the top of this. So you can see here, this can actually be moved over if we want. Moved over to, oops, why can't I grab that? Moved over to here as well, okay? Because this all touches. Okay, this is all coming into this zone here. So we've got Bitcoin right now trading at 11,003. If it comes down here, somewhere in here, you know, somewhere in the middle, maybe just shy. In the middle is actually just shy of $10,000, about 9,900, 98, 9,900. So even somewhere down here in the middle, I think that will be an ideal spot. Not only because it falls within the zone, but also because it is that psychological level under 10,000, good buy. And so let's hope that that could be a good entry price point where buyers are thinking, okay, I'm getting a good deal. I'm getting Bitcoin under 10,000 per BTC. Want to keep moving along here, guys. Michael at Val5 Links here. Bank for International Settlements posted this. They examined the rise of central bank digital currencies across different economies and said that its role would be intended as a complement to, not a replacement for cash. And the reason I bring this up, this is nothing new, but I wanted to talk about the verbiage here. In a recent report, the Bank for International Settlements examined the rise of central bank digital currencies across different economies and said that its role would be intended as a complement to, not as a replacement for, cash. Additionally, the ultimate goal of the report is to share material on the topic for central banks to learn from one another and eventually add to the international policy dialogue in the space. We believe that there can be great value in central banks learning from one another's approach, an activity that is promoted by international policy discussions, said the BIS in this 2020 publication. So just wanted to remind you guys where we heard this before. Intended as a complement to, not as a replacement for cash. Well, this goes back only a few days ago when the senior director for global operations at Ripple, Emi Yoshikawa, spoke in an interview with FX Coin, which is a Japanese outlet. The Ripple executive explained XRP does not compete with central bank digital currencies or stable coins. XRP could be complementary in a world of CBDCs and, as in the current banking system, could be used as a bridge currency for cross-border transfers, specifically in response to the question of whether stablecoins and CBDCs are competitors for XRP. She stated that XRP is not in competition with them. There are different types of crypto assets, but I believe that the role of XRP as a bridge currency is not in competition with the stablecoins and CBDCs, but on the contrary, it is complementary. We believe that XRP as an independent crypto asset will build a bridge between different stablecoins and CBDCs to address the liquidity problem and create synergies. So again, defining XRP as a complementary piece to the system, and in this report here, BIS using the same language, intended to be a complement to, not a replacement for cash, them referring to CBDCs. So have executives at Ripple been talking to the BIS? I mean, we know that they have been in meetings together. We know that in order to educate the public, you kind of need to deliver a narrative. And when that narrative is the same across the board, when it's congruent coming from all these different bodies, I think that you are going to have a higher success rate. So could it be that maybe some members of the BIS had taken a page out of Ripple's playbook, or maybe they have just discussed in meetings, okay, this is the playbook, this is how we're going to frame it. Let's talk about it being complementary as opposed to competing with. I don't doubt that that has happened over the last few years, so it is just interesting to see that the BIS is also suggesting this, intended to be a complementary aspect to the financial system, and, you know, not just running roughshod over the system that currently exists. XRP Ferguson posted this, guys, at TFerg Trades on Twitter. Tag me in this. The Fed drafts MIT to bring the US up to speed. So they're bringing in MIT now, the big guns. The global digital currency race has heightened the threat to traditional monetary policy and the dollar's dominance enough for the Federal Reserve of Boston to make a concerted effort to keep pace. The Boston Fed and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology will build and test a digital currency oriented to central bank uses. The project's digital currency is hypothetical given the U.S. has not formally announced a central bank digital currency, but it's likely the U.S. will have no choice but to pursue this path given the scale of the global parties that are pursuing the technology. So it's sounding like already the United States just kind of has to follow suit with what's coming. China and the Libra stablecoin project, which originated from Facebook, are both drawing a lot of attention and play prominently in MIT/the Fed's project materials, which states digital currency is direct central bank money like cash that exists only in digital form. No G20 country has fully launched a CBDC other than China and Sweden, who are currently working on them right now. Private firms are also perfecting digital money, with Facebook's Libra project among the best known. The project's representatives were not available for an interview. Fine. The Fed and MIT envision several use cases for the U.S. digital currency, such as cutting costs from international transfers and faster government transfers to individuals. The lack of such a rail has already caused problems, given the government's lackluster performance in dispersing stimulus payments during the pandemic. It's a near certainty the U.S. won't have a digital currency before the next round of stimulus payments, of course. But the biggest hurdles may not be technical. And guys, this is where it gets interesting, because we know the technology's there. We know Ripple is already doing this kind of thing. Here's a quote. "I'm not sure that bringing in MIT will help advance a CBDC initiative in the US more quickly," said Tally Baker, a senior analyst at 8. "There are many concerns other than technology that need to be addressed. The biggest hurdles are political, in addition to philosophical decisions around the creation of money and the impact CBDCs would have to competition amongst banks in the US." Well, if we just replace the current greenback with digital currencies, there shouldn't be a problem with regards to banks in the US. I'm not quite sure what they mean there. It's literally just changing out the physical for the digital. The Fed and MIT project contends a CBDC could prevent private sector monopolies on digital currencies, suggesting private currencies may base revenue models on mining user data, causing privacy issues. There's a risk to resilience in the monetary system if the private digital currency market becomes too top heavy. So this, I think, a criticism towards Libra coin. And it's interesting to see that the United States is not... or rather, this person here, Tally Baker, the senior analyst at 8, is suggesting that, you know what, it's not a technology issue, it's a political issue. And so, you know, for the government to say, okay, we're partnering with MIT and we're looking at this and we're making sure that it's all said and good, that may be a smokescreen, to be honest, because ultimately, Tally Baker's got a great point here. The implementation of CBDCs has more to do with government control, issues revolving around public and private sector, and so who will have the control? Not only that, they want to probably minimize the private sector making too much profit off of any said technology, so definitely they're not going to go with a Facebook Libra coin. But it is interesting, just another article talking about the implementation of CBDCs in the United States. Guys, I will link this in the description of the video if you want to read further. Guys, I want to keep moving along here because Martin Volk pointed me to this. IRS is ignoring its own watchdog, sends letters about crypto taxes once again. So another news article with regards to regulation and in this case taxes for Americans. So undeterred by its own watchdog warnings, the Internal Revenue Service has once again begun sending crypto soft letters of disputed legality to American taxpayers. The letters, which broadly inquire about unpaid or incorrectly filed crypto taxes, appear to have been sent out en masse to an unknown number of taxpayers on August 14th, according to multiple copies of the letter reviewed by CoinDesk. They're part of what the IRS calls a soft letter campaign, a call to action meant to spur taxpayers to fix alleged discrepancies in their tax filings before the IRS escalates the situation to a full inquiry or an audit. So crypto holders in particular face reams of sometimes still developing tax guidance over how to treat hard forks, report capital gains, account for crypto transactions, and other more commonplace issues like neglecting to file. But when the IRS first rolled out crypto soft letters last September, it may have gone too hard, too fast, according to a taxpayer advocate service. And so this is part of the problem. I get a lot of questions myself on this channel asking, so working money, how do I pay my taxes? Well, I don't know where you live. There are going to be different tax rules all across the globe depending on where you live. So of course you should always ask a certified accountant to get the specific rules for your specific geographical region. That may vary state by state. It will certainly vary country by country. But just make sure, guys, that when you do cash out of your crypto, you do pay your taxes properly. And here's a little tip. I know I've mentioned it before on the channel. Maybe you guys have heard this before, but open up a separate checking account. Okay, link all your crypto accounts to that one account so that when you cash out, It'll go directly to that secondary checking account, so that if something were to happen and something were to get frozen and your bank decides to freeze your bank account, it's not the same bank account that all your bills are coming out of, because that would be a humongous headache. Open up a secondary checking account, have it ready for when your crypto moons, and have all your crypto stuff funneled through there. I think that is a prudent choice, especially if you have a lot of crypto and you're planning on cashing out a lot. Think about it. If your bank all of a sudden sees $1 million go into your checking account, do you not think that that'll raise some red flags? There's that, guys, and always pay your taxes. Want to keep moving along? Ripple partner NBF, Visa, and UAE telecom giant launch unique SME platform in the UAE. According to a media report, the National Bank of Fujairah, which partnered with leading DLT company Ripple earlier this year at the start of the global pandemic lockdown, has released a community for SME that will serve as an executive banking platform. So the brainchild joint efforts of NBF, Visa, and Emirates telecom giant Etisalat has been launched under the name NBF Connect. The platform will be the first to cater to the interests and needs of SME, small and medium business enterprises, in the UAE. The NBF Connect community will function as a one-stop shop for its members and will enable them to gain access to various services and solutions that SMEs can provide to each other. Among these solutions will be HR services, legal support, and e-commerce and marketplace management. In addition, members will be able to participate in knowledge sharing via lectures, seminars, masterclasses, and so on. So a new partnership here with NBF, who is a Ripple partner, Visa, and a UAE telecom giant. So the Ripple web just keeps getting larger. Just wanted to go back to this article real quick from T-Ferg Trades with regards to the Fed bringing in MIT to bring the U.S. up to speed on the digital currency race. And we talk a lot about China and the critical point I think we're in order to be able to compete with China. Well, guys, this one from Michael at Val5 Links. China plans to use its digital yuan at the 2022 Winter Olympic Games. So maybe that should be the benchmark that they strive for in order to be able to compete, because it sounds like this thing is going to have a wide release by 2022. According to a Reuters report, Sun Guofeng, the head of monetary policy department at the PBOC, said that the bank does not have a timetable for the rollout of the digital currency. However, going by Sun's statement, PBOC is likely to launch it before the 2022 Winter Olympic Games, as they plan to use it during the international sports event. The news comes as China is ramping up pilots for the digital yuan. At present, the Chinese central bank is conducting trials of its digital currency across these 4 Chinese cities, and then it names them. Cointelegraph also reported that the bank was planning to roll out the digital currency for pilot tests across other regions in China. So guys, what is this going to mean? If the pandemic lets up, which I guess we're all hoping by the winter of 2022 it will, and more people are traveling, more people from all around the world will be going to the Olympic Games in China. The local economies will then rebound a little bit from an influx of tourism. And so if you're a tourist and you have an option to use their CBDC, especially if it gives you the benefit of low cost, no transfer fees, I don't know what they plan on doing with it, wouldn't you use it? Especially if you didn't have to do too much on your end, if they made it simple. So this is an interesting strategy. The 2022 Olympic Games, the United States government, you better keep moving on that CBDC, because if we still don't have something by 2022, when China eventually rolls this out essentially to the world, I think that could be the proverbial drop dead date that would officially signify China's usurpment. Usurpment? That's not a word. Well, we'll say China's usurping the United States in terms of being at the forefront of this new and innovative financial system. It would be sad. I guess we'll see what happens in the meantime. Maybe the United States has some plans up its sleeve to get this expedited quickly. Okay, and I wanted to bring this up. This is another one from Ian Binns, and it was a very, very interesting thread here. Okay, as it's the 26th and the court date is today, I want to show you what company Ripple keep and why regulation is taken care of. Here on August 20th, 2018, Brad and David go see the president at 11 o'clock with John Roscoe from the FHFA, which provides more than $6 trillion in funding. And so he circles some of these documents. It's kind of hard to see. But this was from 2 years ago, just demonstrating the type of company Ripple is, obviously, as Ian Binns stated. And here's John Roscoe, the Chief of Staff, Office of the Director at the White House. Now, he keeps going on. He says, if you look at the next meeting, you will see Andrew Southering, who represents corporations, financial institutions, and individuals in U.S. Security and Exchange Commission, U.S. Department of Justice, and the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. And so apparently Ripple had a meeting with this guy. That was the next meeting on the docket. And here's some of his experience there. The next meeting is with the comptroller of the currency, Joseph Otting, who has since left, and Trump appointed Brian Brooks, as we all know, who has now stepped in. Coincidentally, used to work at Coinbase, and so this is Joseph Otting. He was the former comptroller of the currency, and here he is again now. Obviously, Brian Brooks, as we all know, as we've reported, just stepped in this year for that role. Now, the next day is Steven Mnuchin, U.S. Secretary of the Treasury, and Robert Cook, President of Industry Regulatory Authority. Do you really think regulation is a problem? Guys, you got to remember this was 2 years ago now. Ripple had these meetings at the White House. Okay, and this goes back to that article I mentioned yesterday, why this is coming up again. Ian Northing, lastly, he says, I want to leave you with Stephen Diep's well-executed thread of Trump's Executive Order 13772, which mentions Ripple and many others. Now, this again was back from August 2018. And this is huge, guys. From 2 years ago, mentioned Ripple in this official executive order. And here's some screen grabs just to that effect. Guys, I will link all this in the description. But this is a really, really great thread. Again, unearthing some of this old material that we saw and why this is significant. Regulatory clarity is there. It's not about that, guys. It's about the politics and it's about the money. And the regulatory clarity will come. It's just a matter of when they can iron out all the kinks, when they can finally decide, okay, we're good to go, let's do this now. That's when we'll start to see cryptocurrencies really, really move. So this is a great in-depth thread from Stephen Bull from the Diep. I got to thank Stephen here, and also Ian Binns here on Twitter for putting this together too, because we tend to forget what's happened in the past. Ripple has had a significant run over the last couple of years, and so it's important to remember where we've been, where we are now, and where we're going in the future with our XRP investments. Another quick tweet here from Michael at Val5 Links, this again from December 2019. Compliments of Andreas. Crypto news, a proposed bill on remittance insurances mentions Ripple and XRP as the news development in payment channels. And again, guys, this is an old bill, but just going to the fact that the United States government knows that Ripple and XRP exist, and we are under the assumption that there is some kind of plan for this. They just have not rolled it out yet for whatever reason. Likely has to do with politics and money. And guys, if you're new to the crypto space, I don't usually do this kind of thing, but I've known XRP_Canada for a while now. We both got into crypto at around the same time. He's offering this one-on-one consultation service. Don't know if that's something you guys are interested in. Are you finding it difficult to navigate through the cryptoverse? Are you feeling lost in a sea of charts? Do you need a one-on-one consultant to help you guys through this? I thought I'd help them out here, mention this if you guys are interested in something like that. Just think about how much is going on in the space. We're getting all these updates all the time. Certain coins are rallying, others aren't. We're getting great news about XRP, for example, but yet we're not seeing it rally like Chainlink, for instance. And so the Flare Network has been the big story in the XRP community for the last week or so now. And guys, this was brought to my attention by Martin Volk. Another great find by Martin Volk, and he retweets Flare, the official Flare Network's tweet here. And they tweet, likely one of the first governance proposals that the foundation is going to be asked to consider is integrating a trustless two-way bridge between Ethereum and Flare. It goes on to say this would allow FXRP to be used trustlessly on Ethereum, as well as providing a scaling platform for Ethereum tokens an application, whilst giving access to the XRP market for existing Ethereum applications. This could bring together the XRP and Ethereum ecosystems. And boom goes the dynamite if you didn't realize how big this is going to get, guys. Okay, some people down here commenting on this, I don't trust the Ethereum platform, everything about it keeps failing or gets delayed. This from XRP Guy 123, by the way. I'm okay with ERC tokens on the XRPL, I just don't think we should be carrying a project that's already in band-aided and on crutches, just my 2 cents. But I think Sir Gordon Gecko gets it. This retweeted from David Schwartz. I think I could describe my personal trading motto now as, don't miss the next Ethereum. Maggie Madness here is bullish. 40-year-old grandpa says it's kind of like riding a horse and buggy to work while it sits on the back of a flatbed truck. Am I right? So some criticisms about this. This will be the holy grail of wrapping tokens. This from Decentral Station. How would you maintain custody of native XRP? What is the security method and signing process? If it is in the Flare network, Flare nodes are incentivized to steal the native XRP, and how can you avoid the same? But Corey Lyons brings up a good point. So literally everything will run on the XRP ledger, including the rest of the crypto market. Guys, it's looking like this is the way it's going to shake out. This is a huge partnership for XRP, being able to incorporate smart contracts on the XRPL. So now the XRPL can essentially do anything Ethereum and any ERC token can do. This project is going to be a tipping point for bringing all of the ERC tokens to the XRPL. What's not to love? This from XRP_oldtimer on Twitter. I think as time goes on, we will see more ERC tokens added onto the XRPL. There are more and more use cases for the XRPL coming about. Do you guys remember this? Before the Flare announcement, David Schwartz talking about his Blockstars podcast. One interesting thing we talked about was why we decided not to build smart contracts onto the XRP ledger, and we did something that it never occurred to me to do before. Ethereum, of course, made the opposite choice. They built smart contracts into their blockchain directly. We decided not to. So with the benefit of everything we know now, and with Ethereum in contrast, we thought through the reasons we made our decisions and looked at Ethereum to see if we were right or wrong. The answer is very much both. We were right in that adding smart contracts makes a platform worse for payments, and we were right that it would introduce fee instability, performance issues, and have lots of attack surface. But obviously Ethereum was widely successful, and for good reason, so in that sense we were wrong. And now look at the Flare Networks and Ripple partnership 2 weeks later. I'm sure David Schwartz knew what was coming down the pipe when he tweeted this on July 29th. But there you have it. Ripple has actually made the XRPL do what David Schwartz had acknowledged was a problem just 2 weeks before the announcement. Back to the original Flare Network tweet thread now. This is just the beginning. What's there not to love about XRP and the Flare Network collaboration? I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.